This is a video for Chapter 1 Leaving Cert Business using past paper solutions to look at what's important, what you should write, and how to score marks in Leaving Cert Business. Available in the store at the moment are an online seminar that you can watch anytime, where I look back at my scripts from 2018 and 2019 and show you how marks are scored, how little you have to write in order to get marks. So if you want to do less work and score more marks, that is worth checking out. It's a watch anytime seminar. Or else I have a PDF here of my 2019 paper where I answered all 7 questions, both in the score, discount code, YouTube, if you want to check them out. So Chapter 1 is about stakeholders and relationships and contract law. So in 2015, the question was, describe one example of a cooperative relationship and one example of a source of conflict that could arise between the following stakeholders, and it mentions 2 stakeholders. So for 20 marks, there's 2 different sections, so it's 10 each. And what we want to do then is give information on a cooperative and a competitive relationship, and then show them between the investor and the entrepreneur. So what's really important here, and what the examiner will be scanning for, is that you say win-win for a cooperative relationship, and there'll be marks given for that. Then what you need to show is the entrepreneur winning and the investor winning. So you can see here, the investor agrees to allow more time to reduce the chance of them going out of business, so rather than not pay back the debt at all. And the entrepreneur would request more time to repay a loan to the investor. So you're showing clearly then, if the business survives, they're both going to win. And that's how you would go about answering that question. A similar question came up in 2017. Describe one example of a cooperative relationship which could arise between the different pairs. So you're basically, the question is testing you that, do you know the information about the stakeholders? Do you know keywords as to what role they play? So a producer is like a manufacturer who creates goods or services and then can sell them direct to consumer or sell them to a retailer who would then sell them to consumer. So a producer and a consumer, if you think producer, you think Nike, and if you think consumer, you think of yourself. And then we want to look at a cooperative relationship showing how the both of you could win. So if we look here, the producer could ask the consumer to take an online survey. The producer wins because they can improve their product, increasing sales, and the consumer wins as they will now get a product more suited to their needs because they've given the survey. So once again, when it says a cooperative relationship, you say win-win. If it says a competitive relationship, you say win-lose. And then you need to show someone winning and someone losing. And it's very good here to point out that this is where they win, and you're signposting to the examiner, I'm answering the question here. In 2020, it was a similar topic. It was a cooperative relationship between Aldi and its suppliers and a competitive relationship between Aldi and rival supermarkets. But then part 3 was outline how consumers benefit from the existence of competition between rival businesses. Now it's worth noting, when Aldi is mentioned in 1 and 2, that means that you should write Aldi or refer to Aldi in your answer. But if it's not mentioned in part C here, you don't need to refer to Aldi, but can do to help state and explain. For part 3 then, reduced prices. So we're making a statement, we're going to pick up half the marks. Consumer benefits from Aldi and rival supermarkets reducing their prices in order to attract consumers. So they may be forced to lower their prices in order to compete. So there's a financial benefit for it. So you want to state something and then develop it or explain it rather than just repeat. Okay, as stakeholder still, 2014, there was the question was, describe the role of 2 interest groups in business. So therefore you would have to name the interest group, state the role or how they do it or what interest groups do. So if you see interest groups come up, what you want to make sure you get in is negotiation, lobbying, information campaigns, protests, etc. Okay, an interest group can be a trade union, but not all interest groups are trade union, because you have the likes of, say, Greenpeace or like the Gaelic Players Association. They are interest groups because they are groups that represent a group with a common objective, and they try and influence decision makers. So we have examples of them. ABQ, you state it, you get marks. A union for business owners and represents them on industrial relations matters, negotiates with the government, anything like that. So knowing 2 there would be important, like the ASTI or the TUI or the teacher union members that you could mention either. The INMO were in the news recently enough, the Irish Nurses and Midwives Organisation. Okay, so there was a good few other questions that are dealing with the same topic, so we'll scoot on then to contract law. And what we're looking at is the elements of it, the types of termination, and the remedies that exist. They're the three types of ways that they can ask contract law. So we'll begin with the elements. In 2019 there, the question was, explain each of the following terms in relation to the law of contract, providing an example. So therefore, if you're asked to provide an example, there will be marks going for that in the market scheme. So you have to do all four of them, and you'll get 3 marks for giving keywords and then 2 marks for giving your example as well. Let's have a look. So this is actually using my script here from 2019 when I sat the paper from getting a H1 and Leaving Cert Business, the pack. And let's have a look at how quickly you can get marks if you just write good information. Parties must give free, real agreement of their own free will. So I'm talking about consent to contract, and I'm picking up 3 marks for my keywords. Then we just need to provide an example, as it says up here, e.g. a contract would be void if someone was forced to sign under gunpoint, and you're getting 2 marks. So I've written like just over 2 lines there, and I'm picking up full marks for that. So the real take-home point when you see the script, or you look at that, or you go through when you view your own script in August or September, is you have to write very little to get the marks once what you write is good. So no introductions, no filler, no bluff, anything like that, just solid information. We can have a quick look here then. Capacity to contract, legal ability or power to enter a contract, e.g. someone under 18 isn't, so that would be enough to get your marks there, no problem at all. That'll be your 3 and your 2. Consideration, items of value must be exchanged, that's your 3. Giving €3 to a cafe and getting a copy back is 2. So you don't need to write more than what's underlined then in red. Legality of form, particular format like in writing to be legal, and then an example, buying a house. So that'll be your 3 and your 2. In 2018 then, it gave you a little mini introduction about the band Stand and Deliver officially cancelled their upcoming tour due to the death of their singer Richard Steers. Question 1 was, explain the method of terminating the legal contract referred to in the text above. So you had to do it around Stand and Deliver and Richard Steers. And then the second part was outline 3 other methods for terminating a legal contract, providing an example in each case. And in that case there, you had to state the method, give the keywords, and then give the example in each case. It was 2 plus 3 plus 2. So for the first bit, it was frustration, and an unforeseen event prevents the contract from being completed, and it was because of the death of the singer. And you would need to mention the death of the singer because they asked you to refer to the text above. But that's how little you would need to write. Let's have a look at my script there for performance. For this 2 plus 3 plus 2. Performance, I'm getting 2 marks straight away. When both parties complete what was agreed in the contract, it is now terminated as it has finished and no further action is required. 3 marks. And then we need our example. An actor like Tom Cruise's contract in a film ends when the film stops shooting after a year, and we get our plus 2. And that's a good look at examples. They don't have to be real unless you're given an example of, say, a recent merger or takeover or something like that. In this instance, you may not know a particular contract that's performed to talk about, so it's totally fine to use examples to show understanding, even if they're not totally true. Obviously that is true, Tom Cruise would finish a contract, so it's totally fine. It doesn't have to be for a specific movie or anything like that. And the last question there in this pack that's on thebusinessguys.ie is 2015, illustrate your understanding of the term specific performance in relation to contract law. So it is a remedy for breach, is what you need to say, and then it is ordered by when a member of a contract who's in breach is ordered by a court to carry it out. And then, for example, if someone, like say an extension to a property, a builder was to quit working on the extension, they could be sued and taken to court, and the court could order them to actually go back and finish the job. The other remedies to breaches are to rescind the contract when you rip it up and cancel, and you make everyone in the contract go back to the beginning, or there could just be compensation where you are ordered to pay someone financial compensation for breaching your contract. That's chapter 1. There's work packs on the site, solutions on the site, and again there's a discount code for 10% if you wanted to go and check out the packs or seminars for sale on the site.